Hello and welcome to the Monocle Weekly. I am Fernando Augusto Pacheco, and today I speak with Swedish singer Cobrah about her new album, Torn. It was a pleasure meeting the pop provocateur in our studio to talk about her unapologetically bold record.
Sweep me in nighttime. Tell me I taste nice. Venomous divine white eyes. Don't rush, tongue limbo. Whispering things I do to you. This is my first album, and when you do an EP, I've done quite a few EPs. You have to be very to the point. You have to have one vision. It has to be very strong, and you cannot dive into too many complex feelings or emotions because you have a very limited amount of time to show what you're all about. And when I was writing the album, I was starting to write music like my EPs, and it didn't feel like I was challenging myself, and I stopped feeling like I was evolving. And the only thing, I've tried so many things in music, but one thing that I felt like I was missing in my songwriting was like the personal touch. I think I've done so much club music, and my style has been very repetitive lyrics over very textured beats. I was really excited about writing more, like trying melodies for the first time, trying chords for the first time, trying to write more about feelings for the, things that doesn't go over a house beat, that goes maybe over a pop song. You can get a little bit more introspective, I guess. And when you have, like I have 11 songs, you can also show a little bit more of depth.
And vulnerability as well.
Yeah.
And maybe a softer side even from your fans. So some of your fans might be surprised with the album as well, right?
I hope they're not too surprised. No. Sometimes I'm like,
I can tell you, fans, do not worry. There's still a lot of songs to dance in a club.
Yeah, it's like half cunty, half sad. It's on purpose because that's why it's called Torn. It is. I feel like I'm not closing any chapters, but I'm opening a couple of more. I feel like I have such a rich musical background, really, and I never really had the opportunity to show it. So I'm more excited to show what else I can do outside of the short format EP.
I have a question because you did mention the word melodies as well. And I know you come from Sweden and you're not perhaps, the typical kind of Swedish pop that maybe a lot of people know, but it is a country known for melodies and everybody kind of studies music. I wonder, just being from Sweden, what did influence at your work? And as I said, I know that you're not necessarily ABBA or Ace of Base, but you know what I mean, right?
I think it's like when it's so in your world, like the sound of how to make a pop song, I think Cobrah was really born, the way I write music was really born as a defiance of that. I was writing a lot of music at school, and it would be so, I've always been slightly of a provocateur, slightly anti-everything. So I was like, oh, we're supposed to conform to how to write, this is how you make a pop song. And I'm like, fuck that, it's not interesting and it's not fun, and life is about breaking that thing. So in the beginning, the earlier works was very much no verses, no choruses, just like a little vocal hook, and then it goes into A, B, and C part instead of the classical format. But now I'm much more leaning into kind of the verse and that whole thing, which is another experiment in itself, how to make those kind of the standard format of songwriting, and how do you mesh the core of who I am, which is to not do that into, I'm trying to push it into that world a little bit, because it's also a challenge to do that well.
Absolutely. And before we talk about some of the songs in the album, one thing that it always comes across in your videos and in your music as well is the look, how every single video of you is so kind of well made, is beautiful. I love the latex as well. So tell us the importance of fashion as well to your music, because I think it's very important for the way you present yourself. It is incredible.
Thank you. I think I was kind of born out of a latex womb in a little bit.
It looks good on you. Latex is good.
It is good. I think I was always, when I grew up, the same with like pop music and wanting not to be that. I felt like everything that was made for girls, especially when you're a kid, is so pink and fluffy and cute. And I just really was uncomfortable with that. It made me feel very weak. Cute is not a powerful thing to be, and I was not very comfortable with that at all. So when I was starting to make music as Cobrah, I was taking pictures for fun. I was exploring kind of what I would become, and I met this photographer, and she had a whole house full of latex, and I could try everything on. And I remember just kind of like, it was the only time, or it was the first time I felt like I was a girl and I was a woman, and I was really comfortable like that, because I came from a position of power. It wasn't like, oh, this is like a sex thing. It was more of like, this is a way to be a woman or a girl and a force. So it clicked for me, and it's clicking still for me. It's this thing that makes me feel just incredible as a person. So it is important, and I think I don't know, I'm just really drawn to extreme situations generally. Like when I was working on these videos that we've done now, we were going through so many ideas. They were like, have you been chained up? Yes, I have. Have you had pipes in your mouth with water flooding in your mouth? Yes, I have. Have you been naked, full frontal? Yes, I have. Like, have you been probed by aliens? Yes, I have now. So it's like, so what do we do then that is extreme and fun? Fashion is just a great way to live out fantasy, and corsets and latex and just things that it's like extreme sport. Like whatever gives me adrenaline is exciting, and I think there's parts of fashion that where you really have to endure extreme pain, and I love it. I just like the extremeness of fashion, really.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned about your videos and everything. I have to say, I love the video for Hush,
Thank you.
And it's interesting because the song's about, correct me if I'm wrong, about attraction, about desire.
Yes.
But I was so scared about that man as
He's
well.
lovely.
He's lovely, but I like it. It's a bit unsettling, but that's the good thing about it as well, right?
I think the core of what I do is always that we do something beautiful or sexy or alluring, but with the touch of something that it makes you feel a little bit uneasy. It's never gory, it's never scary, it's just a slight uncomfortability that I think makes it interesting. It's the same with the album cover. We have this gorgeous gown, but it's made out of, it's not made out of skin, but it looks like skin. It's a silicone dress, and it has like these stretch marks that just travels all the way through the body. And it's the same with the monster. I had this idea of doing a love story because the song is, about that starting attraction, and it's a personal story of, when I met someone and you can't really breathe and you can't really talk and you're texting and you don't know who's saying what, and it's just all about those tiny details, right? But I wanted to make it come to life the way it would come to life in my fantasy and not in the real world. I'm all about the fantasy of it and having that monster. I mean, I'm a huge gamer. I game all the time. I played like 1,000 hours of Baldur's Gate. It's in my blood, this kind of monster, otherworldly vibe.
Are you a horror fan as well?
No, I'm not.
Oh, interesting.
I get very scared. More of a fantasy girl than a horror girl, I'd say. But just creating characters and making fantasy come to life. Like, what a better life can an artist have than to have that ability to do that?
One question about your music in general, that, your song is very, sex positive, but I feel that the music industry today, sometimes it can be a little bit conservative, even the times that we're living. So it's important to have someone like you. I mean, and you are rebellious in that case. So I think it's a good thing, right?
I think so. I do think that
my songs and the way I write comes from a place of joy and from a place of like the thrill of challenging and being like, ha ha ha, wonder what happens if I do this. But it never comes from a place of anger or like provoke, it never comes from a place of being aggressive or too political. Actually, it's more coming from a place of like searching for the thrill of, can I say this? Can I do that? Tee seeing what happens. It is fun because it is forbidden. I'm not trying to push acceptance so hard so that what I do won't be forbidden anymore. I am playing on the forbidden, but I like that it is forbidden. I don't, if everyone was naked in a video or like, said suck my clit 5 times in a song, then it wouldn't be fun to do it.
I totally agree, and that playfulness, it's missed. It's I understood very well. That's very well explained by
Thank
you.
you.
Very, very, very nice. And well, let's talk about some of the songs on the album. I mean, I have to say, my favorite song is Dog. I mean, I love many songs. I was writing here, I think Charming. Very nice, very different songs,
yes.
Right? So, but I like both, But tell us, is there a song that is your favorite or a song that you would like to talk about?
Well, I really like Hit Girl. I feel like Hit Girl it comes right after Dog. I feel like that song is like 5 songs in one song. It started out as like a piano ballad that now is like, I don't know if it's EDM, but it's like an electronic, very intense track where it starts as a rap. I feel like in the start, I always try to envision the world, but like in the start, I'm in the car and then I go out and I sing and then I go to a bar and like, cause the second verse is almost like an acoustic bass that comes in and I do a little jazzy singing over it. So like I go into the bar and I sing about going into a bar and it sounds like I'm going into a bar. It's a very like theatrical track and it's not one of the singles, but it's a favorite one of mine. I think we did really well with the production and I worked on it. But it's like you said with Dog and Charming, at that part of the album, it's like a little mini love story because Hush, which is that first meet, goes into Charming, which is about staying in love, when you go deeper and you see that this person is also, unfortunately, a person. And, it's not all lovey, but you stay and you love it anyways. And then you go over to Dog and it all kind of falls apart and you're just really frustrated with everything. And then it goes over to Hit Girl, which is more about being by yourself and navigating this very extreme world that you live in as an artist. So the whole album kind of follows a story.
Oh, and in that way, I'm very curious about what are you doing live to it, because there is an upcoming tour of the album. I mean, I'm sure you're already like planning. How are you excited by that, including a Coachella show in April?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Obviously, most excited about Coachella. It's the first time, and it's
a big deal, right?
Yes, it's a big deal, and I've never been there before. So the first time I go will be the first time I play. The whole reason why I got into music was to do live shows. I used to do musical theater quite a lot and dancing and stuff. And in the beginning, I wanted to be an artist where other people wrote the music and I would just do the performance. But I didn't find anyone that wanted to write the music that I wanted to play. So I felt like I was kind of forced to be a songwriter. And with this album, I feel like I'm taking in charge more of being a songwriter. But for the tour, now when there's actually more songs, there's more than 5 new songs, there's an actual album, I am going to try to make it as cinematic as possible and as much of a story as possible. Because the last tour we did, we had this mega like fetish cross and I was upside down and it was made out of iron. It was like 80 kilos in total. It was massive. And I'm going to try to link the visuals from the videos a bit more and try to do a little bit more of a full body story. Like the album has a very thought out linear story, the way I place the songs. So I'm going to try to bring that to life.
And I'm very happy to say, I mean, I don't know if we can say this already, but Dog is going to be one of the upcoming singles as well, right?
Yes, it's going to come out with the album.
Thank you, Cobrah. Her album Torn is out now. I'm Fernando Augusto Pacheco, and this show was edited by Jack Jewers. Thank you for listening.